Hey everybody, Matt from Resist the Tyranny. I want to talk about the truckers in DC today, the truckers' ride for the Constitution. Now, there's been a lot of people saying, "Where's the coverage for it? Where's the media at on this?" And I'm surprised more people don't already know that the media wasn't going to cover this. Fox News covered it for a minute, which I'll show you a video of that here in a second. But the truckers are alive and well in DC. I have had people on Facebook and on other online sources tell me that truckers were cowards, tell me that the truckers chickened out, and bottom line, they're just full of shit. As I said, the truckers are alive and well in DC. Lots of trucks have come to DC, and people that I've talked to have said yes, it started out slow, a lot slower than what anybody thought it would, but it is gaining full speed now. There's a line of trucks all the time on 495 and other interstates around DC. So I will show you the news clip and a couple other videos that I've acquired over the last 2 days right now.
Truckers gassing up and heading straight to Washington today, marking the start of a 3-day protest against the federal government. Now, throughout the weekend, the truckers plan to clog the Capitol Beltway. So how did day one go? Griff Jenkins riding along with organizer Ernest Lee and talking to other truckers gearing up to protest.
I think it's time for the American people to stand up to the forces that are trying to drag this country through the dirt and into the sewer. They're trampling on our rights.
I love my country and I hate what's going on. I hate it.
It's traffic all weekend long.
Despite today's slow start to clogging up that traffic, J.B. Schaffner says there's more to come.
Trucks are going to be driving in shifts. So we've got one shift out now, and we're staging for more drivers as they continue to show up.
Leading today's effort well before dawn, Ernest Lee, a trucker known on the CB radio as General. General, what do you hope to accomplish today?
What we hope to accomplish today is the beginning of making the federal government smaller, getting it back inside the framework of the Constitution. We are looking for an Egyptian moment here, where instead of 30 to 35 million people all across the nation, we have participations by 100 million Americans standing up together, uniting, saying, we have had enough, we want our country back, it's time for the people to rise up and tame this beast that is the federal government. Our non-representing representatives have got to listen, they've got to be put on notice. 2014's coming, 2016's coming, and what's coming with it is we the people and big, big change. This is the beginning. This is a springboard for this.
When you say enough, enough of what? What have you had enough of?
Enough tyranny, enough taxation, enough big government. We've had plenty enough of that.
Is there one thing that was the tipping point for this movement?
Obamacare probably had a whole lot to do with it being a tipping point. Obviously, this movement was being planned and was underway well before the shutdown. But you know what? We thought we'd add our own brand of shutdown to this and just cut the city off. And in a way, in a symbolic way, sort of shut down DC to isolate them the way DC, all their regulations and everything are just choking the life out of this economy, out of our rights, out of our freedoms. I'm doing this for my grandchildren, so my grandchildren can take and have the opportunity to grow up in a United States of America that is free, with a much smaller, less intrusive federal government, power returned to the states and to the people.
Turns out day one getting off to a very slow start. The rainy weather causing more traffic jams than the trucks. We're going to see if the weekend brings more truckers to Washington.
There it is. They're rolling truckers for the ride to the Constitution. Truckers ride to the Constitution.
That's the only one I get to wake me up. My wife hates that thing.
There they are, rolling out of the truck stop.
Right there. Yeah, I don't know. Just about to make all these sharp turns.
Grinning and a gouging. Grinning, grinning.
Everybody, we're going to pull over on the ramp down here. Everybody try to get gathered back up here. That way when we roll up out here, we look like we're organized.
Grinning and a gouging.
And they left the gate down at 98. We said, let them drivers roll, 10-4. 10-4, let them roll.
10-4.
So as you can see, there's plenty of action happening in D.C. You and I just aren't going to hear as much about it because the mainstream media isn't going to cover it. And like I said, that should not be a surprise to anybody. I will, on my Facebook page, Resist the Tyranny, and on my website, resistthetyranny.com, I will give as many updates as I possibly can concerning this. But as of right now, there's not a whole lot to say about it. I don't believe the arrests are going to happen like they originally planned. But I think the biggest thing that is bothering people is it's not as big as they imagined it would be. Now I realize in a perfect world, in a world that I would love to live in, the truckers would have surrounded D.C., shut the whole city down, gone in with their guns, knives, pitchforks, and torches, and gutted the entire capital of all the criminals. But the sad fact is that's just not going to happen. So, again, I will keep you as informed as I possibly can on this subject. And but like I said, the truckers are alive and well and doing pretty much exactly what they said they were going to do. They said they were going to take up a couple lanes of traffic and slow down everything and get everybody's attention. Alright, that's all I got for you. Thanks for listening. Let's resist the tyranny. Live free.
Right now, a few dozen truckers are circling the Beltway in protest. They say they're angry at the government, so they're driving side by side. At one point, they were going just 15 miles per hour.
Brianne Carter has been following them on the Beltway all day long. She's live with the impact on the traffic. Brianne?
A bit of a pause from the protest here with the truck rally that began very early this morning. Take a look here behind me. You can see the about 24 that are here lined up off of the inner loop currently. Many of these truckers coming from far away, including Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and they are waiting for others to arrive to join in on this rally that has been going on for several hours here now on the inner loop. Now, this truckers ride for the Constitution started a little before 9 o'clock this morning and is expected to run through Sunday afternoon. Now, after several hours of driving through the inner loop, we did see one of the truck drivers pulled over by Maryland State Police. Now, we talked to that driver. He said he was not given a citation, just a warning not to impede traffic. Now, they have been driving in 3 lanes of the Beltway, the 3 right lanes, letting the left lane get by. Earlier this morning in Virginia, we did see a similar situation where Virginia State Police did pull over one of the truck drivers as well. The same thing. No citation was given, but they were warned not to block traffic. For the most part, they've been going about 40 miles an hour circling around the inner loop of the Beltway. We talked to one woman asking her why all of these truck drivers are here.
For trucking regulations, one, take back our Constitution for the other. You know, America has got away from that. We need America back.
Now, many of them shared the same sentiment. They said that they're very upset with the way the government currently is, and they hope that Congress is listening to them today. Now, in terms of Virginia and Maryland State Police, they said that they do have extra crews out on the Beltway throughout the day and will continue that throughout the weekend as well. We did see them stationed at certain points along the inner loop as we were driving there, and we do expect that these people will be getting back out on the road in just a matter of minutes as soon as some other truck drivers join up with them. They were at different points getting here in waves that they say is going to continue. They're going to be driving 8-hour shifts, many of them saying they will be here driving on the Beltway until Sunday night. Reporting live, Brianne Carter.
This is Dabu 7, October 11, 2013, and the American truckers have put DC on notice. It has begun. They have taken over this belt loop of 495, and they have been pulled over multiple times already. But as of this morning, is at 9 a.m., the guy that organized this and put this together stated that they're only supposed to take over one lane and not multiple lanes. And that's how this protest is supposed to go down. Well, they have taken over 3 to 4 lanes in some areas, and the whole convoy has been pulled over. And they were given warnings, no tickets, and they were let loose. Now, since then, more trucks have joined, and they have taken over 3 to 4 lanes again. They have completely shut down the highway in some areas, backed up for miles beyond miles, and it's raining. The cops in some of these areas can't get to it because of the barriers of construction, overpasses where bottlenecks, and they just cannot get through, period. They're making their presence felt in DC. Here's a look as the cops attempted to pull over a vehicle that was just riding along with them. The vehicle pulled over, and in a sign of loyalty, the whole convoy pulled over to the side of the road and waited for this lone car to get dealt with, let loose, and then they all continued back on down the highway. And here's a good look at that long line. I'm going to leave you and a great link here, a great page that's got all of the live webcams around DC, all of 495, 95. It started down in this region, and like I said, right now it's raining. A lot more have joined the convoy, and this is, when you find it on here, it might take you a second, but when you find it, you're going to know. The traffic's going to be shut down, locked up, backed up, and who knows what's going to happen at this point. That's what's going to be very interesting about these live shots off these feeds, because, you know, who knows? This is going to go through Sunday. I'm going to leave the links. Eyes open, folks. This has been Dabu 7. Peace.
Hello. You don't mind if I video you, do you? Worst president ever? Not anymore. He's the third worst president now. You got Obama, Carter, and Bush.
Obama's all right with me.
Yeah?
President ever, you got that right. You got that right.
Sit. How about this one? If you're mad, beat twice.
I'm gonna make some burrito Sunday.
Terrific. Oh, we're having so much fun today, Jerry. That can be construed two ways.
Well, let me tell you how I mean it.
Yep. Well, we did a traffic count before. We counted approximately, at this kind of traffic level, 60 cars a minute going on each side. That was 60 cars every 30 seconds going on each side. And we figured it was 250 cars a minute. And we multiplied that by 60. 60, that's 60 times, that's over 10,000, I think, 50,000, no, 15,000. this is better than Geritol. She knows.
Okay, guys, here we go. If I were going under, I'd honk, but I'm hoping not
Hi guys, it's Linda. And I know we're gonna, I know that the truckers are gonna do a 1 million truckers protest to Obama by shutting down America for 3 days in October. And I went and read the information I could on this, and I thought back, wow, I remember when the truckers went on strike in 1979, and okay, yes, I'm old, but you know, what eventually happened was people took it out on the truckers because the empire used it. And now I'm not saying nothing bad, I actually have a solution for this, but let me tell you what happened in 1979. A lot of people lost jobs. There was no food on the shelves. There was no gasoline, and that had to do with OPEC, and that was one of the reasons the truckers went on strike. And I'm going to leave a link to this. But, and eventually after that, that's kind of when jobs started getting shipped overseas really fast. So our manufacturing in America, actually, they used the trucker strike as a reason to ship jobs overseas because a lot of things closed down. Now, that hurt America in a big way. So I agree that 100 million or 1 million truckers should protest, and as many that as possible should go to Washington, D.C. But that's really not going to accomplish anything because the empires will use that against us. You need to have 1 million truckers in every state, or as many as you can get in every state, blocking ports, blocking the railroads, blocking everything, blocking the streets. And this is why I'm saying this, is because if they cannot export, the empires are still going to go on as business as usual. If we can preventing them from importing and exporting things with truck, because it'll shut down rail too. Them big trucks get on a railroad, that's how you stop things. I mean, Indians have stopped trains from passing through by standing on railroads. It can be done, and they won't hit you. And the police, if enough truckers did this, the police or the National Guard couldn't do a damn thing, nor the Army. And now I'm saying that we, the people, would have to stand behind this, and that means everyone, even if you're in a rural city or a big city, would have to get on a street corner and say, I support the truckers and the fall of the empire or whatever, because they're not listening to anything we do. We think we're getting headway, and they throw another distraction, and they are throwing plenty of distractions in our way. I say if the truckers, and I live with a truck driver who is unemployed at this time. So I say if the truckers want to do something, then they're going to have to do something that's really going to shock the empire. And the exporting and importing business would be a good way to start. And I mean, every port, every facility needs to be blocked. In every town where, and truckers need to stop dead in their tracks on the road, pull over the side of the road, and when that day arrives, and I believe it starts October 11th, and just pull over and don't do anything, or if you can get to the nearest port or someplace where they would transport stuff, don't let it get exported out of America. We need the jobs here. We need to start becoming a manufacturing place again, not for the military industrial arm, but for us, so we can be inventive and creative and maybe do something positive for once. And this would be a good time to do that. Something positive where we could employ people and we could do things like we used to do and have businesses just, you know, spring up from everybody because we started manufacturing what we have here. And we wouldn't do it to destroy the earth, we'd actually do it to rebuild the earth. And we could do this, but it would take everybody to get off their butts. And I mean, don't do the banks, don't go to the stores. If you work in a store, don't go to work that day. Do whatever you have to do, unless it's for emergency measures. And I'm going to say hospitals and stuff, because those people have to go to work. People depend on that. But I'm telling you, just stay home. Don't turn on that TV. Don't even turn on the internet that day. When you turn the internet on 3 days later, and I'm sure we'll all have to take a peek, I'm not. But, you know, try not to do anything unless it's showing videos of truckers blocking the ports and stuff. I know I'll go to the port of Grays Harbor here. We'll see what's happening, because I know a lot of stuff gets shipped there. I say let's start right here in Washington State. You truckers around here, block it. The people will stand behind you. If you're serious enough, stop. I mean, we've got to stop. Not every trucker can make it to Washington, nor do I think it would do any good. It didn't in '79. Like I said, it was turned and used against the truckers. And the truckers actually, the deregulations actually hurt the truckers. So let's do it positive. Stop the export and imports. Stop this stuff. Just stop everything. Not trying to bring America to its knees, because if your neighbor's hungry or you see because of the stoppage people are hungry, go get gas and stuff ahead of time and food if you can afford it. But if you see somebody's hungry, you help them out. Because if the empire, or America, this little empire, is stopped dead in its track across all the states, including Alaska, that would mean there'd be some people who would suffer, and that means you're going to have to show humanity. The part of you that has that. You're going to have to show empathy and not be apathetic. So you're going to have to reach out. And so I suggest in your local area, if you know somebody that may not make it through a crisis like this, if we don't do it and have demands met, you know food prices will skyrocket after the 3-day 1 million truckers on DC, and a lot of things they will do just like they did before, because food will spoil, and milk and dairy and such like that, they will say went bad, and they will shoot the prices of coffee, sugar, whatever you use. Around my neck of the world, I'm not actually that worried about it, even if the truckers went on strike. But in some places it would really harm people, so it's going to have to be a 50-state thing, and you're going to have to go to places where it's going to affect the empires, the corporations, the corporate engines the most for this to be an effective protest. Because all you're going to do is actually sanction Americans if you don't do it, you know, the proper way. And that's what happened in 1979. And the truckers did get blamed for it. People were angry at the truckers. And they didn't have, it was the empires, it's our empire, our corporation's fault. I call it the empires. The small empire's fault. It wasn't the truckers' fault. I'm not saying that. I'm saying the people blame the truckers. So that's your divide and conquer strategy. So if the truckers want to do this, 50 states or all the states, I mean, every place America has a base. If you have to take something to a port that you know that's going to Guam or someplace, don't let that Pepsi or Coca-Cola get on a barge to cross the ocean. You hear me? You truckers, we will stand behind you. Make this viral. I'm going to leave a link of what happened in 1979. So this has to go right. 3 days. We all can do this. We can stand behind the truckers, but we don't need Washington, D.C. on a weekend when they're not there to listen anyway, and the only people it's going to hurt is they'll use it against us. We have to learn from what's happened in history and turn it on the empires. And I would like you to leave your comments below. You can agree or disagree with me, but I've lived through it once before and saw what happened. And I'd like to see something positive happen this time around. I love you all. Peace, love, truth. Linda's out. And please remix this as many times as you can. I can't get on Facebook. I don't have a Facebook. So please post this on the Truckers page if someone would. I would appreciate it, because I am in support of this. But you have to learn from the past. You do. You have to do things a little bit different, because the empires predict you're not going to change up things. You're going to do it the same old way. Give them a little different taste of, you know, what they think. Let's think outside the box. And I do love you all. And I'm out.
But for farmers, trucks, everywhere. Such a county. Now we got this multiplied to speed by 4 because we're going to cover a lot of ground here. These farmers have shut down. They're not doing nothing. They couldn't be in DC, but they were behind you. So far, no trucks. This road should usually have 2-3 trucks by the time I get to the end of it. None. No farmers are in the field. The corn's sitting there. Corn's ready. Nothing. Corn, load of corn. Ready to go. Now I'm telling you again, we ain't driving this fast. We got the speed multiplied by 4. You don't want to be sitting here while we're driving down the road. Still no trucks. This road is a main line to the elevators where they take the grain. It's harvest time. Sun's beating real good. Nobody is working. When we go up here and you get to the left, you look real far. Oh, here comes one truck. There goes one. Right. If you look way far down to the left, when we go to make this left turn, you look past that, you'll see the whole custom operation. All their trucks and equipment is parked. No trucks. They were coming into town, and we're going to go through these elevators. Right? There should be trucks bringing or taking grain or doing something. Nothing. There's a trailer parked. Elevator. Desolate. Doors shut. There's another elevator. To each shop. Back here. Nothing back here. Nothing. Nothing. Anyway, when we came in down that road, we should have seen combines busy like this. Moving. Nothing. We're going to come through town. We should see tractors coming in to get their tires fixed. Everything's parked. Parked. Okay. Lumberyard. That lumberyard usually got lined up with cars. Nobody is doing nothing. This is all farm community. It's Friday. This place should be hopping. Down here you see, when you look as far as you can see either side, you cannot see any equipment. And you got about 5 miles visibility here. There is nothing moving. As far as you can see, corn's just sitting there. Right there goes one semi again. Corn's ready. There ain't a green stick in it. We're going to see one more truck when we come up to this intersection. Usually there's a straight job. Everything's parked. Should have seen 30 trucks by now. Right? And this, remember, this road here is a main line between elevators and towns. This is State Road 37. Should have seen, at least seen this. Even if you didn't see semis, you should have seen this. It's not there. They're not working. You look to the right, there's one more truck. I mean, you know, this should look like if you live on the coast, this should look like the ports right now. You look to the right, you should see semis lined around the corner. See maybe 3 of them back here. Usually when you come up to the stop sign, there's 2-3 trucks waiting to turn. Come out. You got one coming up as we're coming up. Still, you know, no, they're not even combining. These guys supported the truck movement. Okay, and look to the right. You see all this worn grass? There's usually trucks parked down here. Then on that side, that's all worn down on the left side because people trying to squeeze by because the trucks can only park about half off the road. So then everybody that wants to go east and west has to squeeze by each other. That's how it gets worn, right? Here it's worn right over to the ditch from parking trucks. Now when you come in here, trucks are usually parked out here. There's usually 3 lines of trucks. 3 lines. All right? You come around here, you see these. There's 3 lines for trucks to be in. There's about 6 of them down there at the end. So we ain't going to drive around them and past them because they get kind of funny about you going the wrong way there. Here's a little fuel stop. Nobody's in here. There's usually at least one person filling or getting a pop. Nothing. Come up here again, you look at the road, you see the wear marks on the side where the trucks park on the left now and where they squeeze by when they're on the right. Everywhere there's solid ground, you'll see wear marks in the dirt because this thing is usually lined with trucks. Oh, the trailer parked. Okay. At the end of this, I'm gonna show you a video of how busy this place should have been. There was no equipment. You can see for almost 5 miles, there is no equipment out there working. You should have seen this. He loads that grain cart up and then they take it over and they pop it into a semi. Should have been semis parked with these things. This wasn't there. This is like previous video I had that I threw in here. All this equipment working. This was stuff I shot on other days. It'd break off in a minute. He'd take that load of grain, run up to the semi, and that combine sit there and it'll fill up. About the time he's done unloading and comes back, that combine will be about ready to empty. And then that tractor fills it up. They usually have 2 semis sitting there waiting. And even if they ain't taking it to the elevator, that's my truck. My truck's parked today. They take that, they fill the bins. They ain't even doing that. They just parked. I didn't expect this kind of thing in my county. I knew I was taking off, but here comes a semi coming down. You should have seen these on the gravel when you looked out. Rolling down the gravel. I mean, this is like busy, 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 and it ain't there because they ain't doing nothing. But as far as you can see, this was previous video. Here we go again. Look, as far as you can see, you don't see no equipment out. You see crop to be harvested, but you don't see nobody out. And the rich and the socially elite, they just gonna have to wait another 3 days. Oh, that was a truck. Keep staring. Stare out there as far as you can see. You don't see no equipment working. Not a thing. They're shut down. See all the way to the horizon, you don't see no equipment. The truckers, the farmers shut down with you. At least Hutchinson County did anyway. Okay. We ain't gonna ride around all day. We're about to put a wrap on this. When we crack this next hill, you can see all the way again. Look out there. There's no equipment out there. That's a wrap.
Hello and welcome to westernjournalism.com. Here are a few stories that you might want to check out.
Breaker 19. Hey driver, we're heading to the Capitol to take back our Constitution. Looks like we got ourselves a convoy.
Big rig drivers are making their way to Washington, D.C. to stage a protest against the government's unconstitutional behavior this weekend. The movement, Truckers to Shut Down America, are well-intentioned patriots who are expressing their dissatisfaction with the incompetent and corrupt administration. Support them in any way you can. Sheila Jackson Lee, a Texas Democrat congresswoman, has come up with a solution to the government shutdown. She said that we have martial law. That means you can put a bill on in just a few minutes and vote on it before anyone has a chance to understand what's in it. But Jackson Lee wasn't following the Constitution exactly, because she advocated for House approval of a spending bill from the Senate. So why was she using this terminology, martial law? Sounds like wishful thinking on her part to send the tanks and the machine guns in on the people. The great state of insanity, California, continues its moral decline as they continue to pass new laws that make you go, huh? Illegal immigrants will be allowed to get driver's licenses. Children can have more than 2 parents of any gender combination, and non-doctors can administer first trimester abortions, which will expand access to abortion services to virtually every corner. Are they going to have drive-through clinics too? California. All these stories and more can be seen on westernjournalism.com. Thanks for watching and have a great day.
Welcome back to New Day. I hope you're having a good morning. Now, we've been telling you about the political gridlock in Washington for weeks. Now, get ready for gridlock of the real kind. Thousands of truckers headed to Washington this morning with the goal of expressing their frustration at the government by literally tying up traffic. CNN's Joe Johns is in North Springfield, Virginia, with the very latest. What's the plan, Joe?
Well, Chris, we're standing by at this little perch overlooking the Capitol Beltway to see what develops. Organizers say they want to crowd the 64-mile interstate with cars and trucks over the next 3 days, but it's just not clear if they have the numbers to do that. Is it a big deal or a little deal?
It's going to be, from coast to coast, the biggest traffic jam in history.
Today we'll find out whether Ernest General Lee's big plans to crowd the Capitol Beltway and other thoroughfares with thousands of trucks in a protest against the government lives up to the nationwide hype.
We've had enough. We want 100 million people nationwide taking part of this, and they're going to.
The plans call for the truckers to hit the Beltway around Washington on Friday morning rush hour, tying up 3 lanes of 495, circling the nation's capital with big rigs traveling 55 miles an hour. They say they will keep up the protest through the weekend, obeying the laws and leaving a lane for emergency vehicles. So far, state police, while beefing up their presence in the states along the Beltway, have been measured in their reactions. As long as the vehicles comply with Virginia law, then the Virginia State Police will not interfere with their activities. Lee says it's just a coincidence that the so-called Truckers' Ride for the Constitution, which was planned weeks ago, happens to coincide with the partial government shutdown. But the truckers' list of grievances has everything to do with the government, starting with the president himself.
If you did a little background check on me, you'd find out I did a video calling for him to resign or be impeached. So I'm not going to try and back away from it at all. I just don't want to make this movement about it because the problem is bigger than that. It's not just President Obama. It is the corruption in the House, the Senate.
Organizers are also asking truckers to engage in a general strike and refuse to haul freight over the weekend to show solidarity with the movement. Right now, a lot of traffic out there, which is pretty normal for a Friday morning on the Beltway. The American Trucking Association has distanced itself from this protest. Michaela?
All right, Joe. I'm sure motorists there in the area, some will be supportive, but will probably be frustrated by the backup it causes.
Truckers' Ride for the Constitution is a deep-rooted grassroots campaign of independent truck drivers. In their words, they are, quote, leading a convoy to deliver their trucker demands in their left hand and the U.S. Constitution and non-negotiable rights in their right hand. They took off this morning to the interstates surrounding D.C. to bring attention to their cause by backing up traffic. They are focused on 2 things. The first is excessive regulation in the trucking industry. They say Obama's policies are forcing truckers to work under minimum wage and putting a lot of people out of work. And here's what one of the drivers told me just about that.
I'm fed up with people making laws and regulations that have never even worked in the industry. If you haven't been in a truck in your life, you don't deserve to be making rules for guys that are.
But they are also upset with, and again, this is in their words, corrupt politicians attacking and eliminating our rights and liberties, which are protected by the Constitution. Now, this campaign started about a month ago, but it has escalated due to the administration's response to the government shutdown. We are here now at the World War II Memorial. An honor flight just took place with Congressman Louis Gohmert. And truckers were supposed to be here to give their list of demands to members of Congress, but they didn't show up. Traffic was so bad, they could not get here. But it's at the World War II Memorial where the last straw was broken for the truckers. The Obama administration closed the World War II Memorial on October 1st. However, just a couple feet away from here is the National Mall. And on Tuesday of this week, the administration allowed for a protest to take place for immigration reform. To put bluntly, Obama allowed for illegal immigrants to enter the National Mall while closing this memorial that was built with private funds to honor veterans. This has caused a lot of anger around the country. Here's what Representative Louis Gohmert told me.
I've never seen so many Park Service personnel out here at the Lincoln Memorial. You move a barricade and you get more Park Service people than I've ever seen in the whole mall. So yeah, it's not saving any money for the close down to have this many people with this many barricades.
Despite this, veterans have been able to enter the memorial. They pushed past the barricades the Park Service police put up, and Park Police have since changed the wording on the signs, allowing for First Amendment rights to be exercised here. Now, I spoke with General Lee. He's the truck driver coordinator for this event. I spoke with him last night. Here's how he put it.
People are going to remember all this idiocy and foolishness during the shutdown. I believe President Obama had a plan that he was going to take and punish the American people, but he went a little too far when he started shutting down war memorials for like the greatest generation in our history.
And again, he was supposed to be here for the honor flight and to give their list of demands to Congressman Gohmert. Some of their demands might surprise you. Take a listen.
Part of our agenda is we're calling for his resignation or impeachment, just like Morsi in Egypt. And if we raise 100 million Americans across the country, we will demand his resignation or pressure the House and Senate to call for his impeachment on treason and fraud.
Other than calling for Barack Obama to leave office, they are also demanding that the USA shall not support al-Qaeda, the debt ceiling shall not be raised, and the National Security Agency's surveillance of the entire world's communications must cease, among others. They're calling this a grassroots campaign. They proudly have 150,000 likes on Facebook, and they have launched a Twitter campaign at hashtag T2SDA. That's for truckers to shut down America. This is day one of their 4-day campaign. They haven't quite shut down the country, but they are tooting their horns loudly, and they have been heard. In Washington, D.C., Perry and Boring, RT.
Despite the chilly temperatures Friday morning, these truckers are gearing up to take several hot-button issues.
I wasn't being aggressive, I was just being vocal.
Straight to our nation's capital. You see, the small group meeting here in Doswell is planning to hit the road to rally with other truckers in Washington, D.C. in what they call a ride for the Constitution.
I'm not all for the divisional structure of Republican, Democrat, because it creates more division within the country.
But it's not just the ceiling of that separation these truckers are looking to shine a light on. Instead, this hashtag acronym, which stands for Truckers to Shut Down America, puts on display their game plan.
Shut the government down and have it restarted, basically.
There are specific issues that led this trucker to travel through the night from the Florida coast to take part.
It seems like the insurance is just killing me now with this new effect that it's having. It's a deductible that's outrageous compared to what it used to be. So I definitely want to see a change.
A message these and possibly thousands more plan to make loud and clear as they set out on a ride for change.
What are you a member of?
I'm the National Grassroots Ambassador for the Convention of States projects.
Okay.
You can find information on conventionofstates.com.
Okay.
This organization was founded by Martin Meckler, who was the original co-founder of the Tea Party Patriots, and Dr. Michael Ferris, who is the chancellor of Patrick Henry College. Now, this project takes everything in Mark Levin's book, The Liberty Amendments, and we're going to put it into practice. Right now, the project is into 25. It started out as 26 months to liberty. Now we're down to 25. Next month, 24. Does everybody get the idea?
All right.
Okay? We intend on having a convention of states called a Convention of States to take and get amendments to the Constitution proposed and then ratified, and it's an end run around the establishment in Washington, D.C.
Right. Just to clarify for the people that are listening to this, there's two ways to ratify amendments to the Constitution. One is 2/3 of Congress, and the other is 2/3 of the states.
2/3 of the states to call for a convention.
To call for a convention.
Both methods require the same type of ratification.
Okay.
Yeah, but one involves Congress, and we've done it this way 27 times. I'm not counting the 10 Bill of Rights, but we've amended it 27 times since then under the first way. Okay, this is the way that has never been done in the history of this country, and that way was the way the Founding Fathers insisted. They knew this day would come, when there would be nothing but tyranny. The government would be too big, too centralized, too powerful. They left us a way out. We got to play it. We got to play that card.
Do we have states that are starting to be on board with this right now?
We've already got 27 states on board and ready to go. If you'll check at conventionofstates.com, so there's something on there called the Convention of States Handbook. You'll see a copy in there of the example of, the exact motion the state legislatures are going to use to call this convention. All they have to do is fill in the name of their state. That's how thorough this project is prepared and ready to move with this.
And the process that's involved, is that laid out in detail so people can understand it?
Yes.
And articulate it to other people that don't understand it?
Yes, it is. It's laid out right there on conventionofstates.com.
Conventionofstates.com.
Yep, and it's their handbook. It's their Convention of States Project handbook.
All right. Sounds like a good plan. Thank you for that.
Sure, you're quite welcome. Like I say, a man of many hats. Okay.
All right.
This one says, if you've got it, a truck brought it. Okay, and that's true. Everything you've got on, everything you've got within reach, 24 hours a day.
My camera.
Yep. If you've got it, a truck brought it.
All right. Well, we appreciate what you guys are doing from overpasses to truckers. we're happy to work with you. So,
brother. Appreciate y'all.
All right,
appreciate brother. Proudest moment.
Yep, I'm Josh Berry. I'm the Pennsylvania state leader for overpasses.
Are you still rolling, Josh?
I'm still rolling.
Okay, Josh, I want to tell somebody or y'all something. When we in the driving rain, trucks deep, thousands of cars backed up behind us, the high point of my day was the overpasses movement.
Yes, sir. I tell you what, we ran underneath of that, and we saw you there.
Goosebumps.
Yeah, man.
Did you see?
This country's about.
Did you see what Colonel West said to us? That was my video. I want you to take a look at that. He knows who we are, and I'm telling you, Washington knows who we are. If he knows who we are, Washington knows who we are.
That's right.
So,
what do you think is the #1 chief problem with everything?
man, that's a broad question.
If you had to just pick one route, I'm just curious as to your curious.
Wow.
You can edit this part out. I'm curious as to your personal opinion.
Well, I mean, I'm going to roll through this, but I mean, that's a really broad question.
I'll give you 2 words.
Well, what do you think?
Federal Reserve. We're on you.
Just say good care. Well, you know, when it comes down to it,
It's a criminal organization passed by a law that you didn't have enough people there to ratify the document. They can't produce the copy. You can't produce the ratified copy of the Federal Reserve Act. Why is that? Turn that off for a second. Let me tell you.
Hey everybody, Matt from Resist the Tyranny. I want to talk about the truckers in DC today, the truckers' ride for the Constitution. Now, there's been a lot of people saying, "Where's the coverage for it? Where's the media at on this?" And I'm surprised more people don't already know that the media wasn't going to cover this. Fox News covered it for a minute, which I'll show you a video of that here in a second. But the truckers are alive and well in DC. I have had people on Facebook and on other online sources tell me that truckers were cowards, tell me that the truckers chickened out, and bottom line, they're just full of shit. As I said, the truckers are alive and well in DC. Lots of trucks have come to DC, and people that I've talked to have said yes, it started out slow, a lot slower than what anybody thought it would, but it is gaining full speed now. There's a line of trucks all the time on 495 and other interstates around DC. So I will show you the news clip and a couple other videos that I've acquired over the last 2 days right now.
Truckers gassing up and heading straight to Washington today, marking the start of a 3-day protest against the federal government. Now, throughout the weekend, the truckers plan to clog the Capitol Beltway. So how did day one go? Griff Jenkins riding along with organizer Ernest Lee and talking to other truckers gearing up to protest.
I think it's time for the American people to stand up to the forces that are trying to drag this country through the dirt and into the sewer. They're trampling on our rights.
I love my country and I hate what's going on. I hate it.
It's traffic all weekend long.
Despite today's slow start to clogging up that traffic, J.B. Schaffner says there's more to come.
Trucks are going to be driving in shifts. So we've got one shift out now, and we're staging for more drivers as they continue to show up.
Leading today's effort well before dawn, Ernest Lee, a trucker known on the CB radio as General. General, what do you hope to accomplish today?
What we hope to accomplish today is the beginning of making the federal government smaller, getting it back inside the framework of the Constitution. We are looking for an Egyptian moment here, where instead of 30 to 35 million people all across the nation, we have participations by 100 million Americans standing up together, uniting, saying, we have had enough, we want our country back. It's time for the people to rise up and tame this beast that is the federal government. Our non-representing representatives have got to listen. They've got to be put on notice. 2014's coming, 2016's coming, and what's coming with it is we the people and big, big change. This is the beginning. This is a springboard for this.
When you say enough, enough of what? What have you had enough of?
Enough tyranny, enough taxation, enough big government. We've had plenty enough of that.
Is there one thing that was the tipping point for this movement?
Obamacare probably had a whole lot to do with it being a tipping point. Obviously, this movement was being planned and was underway well before the shutdown. But you know what? We thought we'd add our own brand of shutdown to this and just cut the city off. And in a way, in a symbolic way, sort of shut down D.C. to isolate them the way D.C., all their regulations and everything are just choking the life out of this economy, out of our rights, out of our freedoms. I'm doing this for my grandchildren. So my grandchildren can take and have the opportunity to grow up in a United States of America that is free with a much smaller, less intrusive federal government, power returned to the states and to the people.
Turns out day one getting off to a very slow start. The rainy weather causing more traffic jams than the trucks. We're going to see if the weekend brings more truckers to Washington.
There it is. They're rolling truckers for the ride to the Constitution. Truckers ride to the Constitution.
That's the only one I get to wake me up. My wife hates that thing.
There they are, rolling out of the truck stop.
Right there. Yeah, I don't know. Just about to make all these shop shirts.
Grinning and a gouging. Grinning, grinning.
Everybody, we're going to pull over on the ramp down here. Everybody try to get gathered back up here. That way when we roll up out here, we look like we're organized.
Grinning and a gouging.
And they left the gate down at 98, we said, let them drivers roll, 10-4. 10-4, let them roll. 10-4.
So as you can see, there's plenty of action happening in D.C. You and I just aren't going to hear as much about it because the mainstream media isn't going to cover it. And like I said, that should not be a surprise to anybody. I will, on my Facebook page, Resist the Tyranny, and on my website, resistthetyranny.com, I will give as many updates as I possibly can concerning this. But as of right now, there's not a whole lot to say about it. I don't believe the arrests are going to happen like they originally planned. But I think the biggest thing that is bothering people is it's not as big as they imagined it would be. Now I realize in a perfect world, in a world that I would love to live in, the truckers would have surrounded D.C., shut the whole city down, gone in with their guns, knives, pitchforks, and torches, and gutted the entire Capitol of all the criminals. But the sad fact is that's just not going to happen. So, again, I will keep you as informed as I possibly can on this subject. And but like I said, the truckers are alive and well and doing pretty much exactly what they said they were going to do. They said they were going to take up a couple lanes of traffic and slow down everything and get everybody's attention. Alright, that's all I got for you. Thanks for listening. Let's resist the tyranny. Live free.
It's just a myth. Remember? There we go. All they need in the front. That's good. Got other trucks mixed in.
Watch traffic.
Watch it. It's going to be a fun one.
I'm going to be cool. To make the point, look here, still coming up.
Make what point?
The point that we the people have had enough. This is the warning shot. We've come here once, you're messing with our veterans, don't disrespect our veterans. Don't do that. And you know, we the people, we are actually charged in our Constitution when the government is full of tyranny and when the government is too big, too intrusive, etc. The Constitution charges we the people to be the monitors and to regain control of our rights and our freedoms, not sit still when they're being taken away from us. And if this is an example, this is a peaceful way to make a point and make a message. The people are growing more and more upset.
Are you?
Oh yes. Oh yes.
You're upset.
Yes, I am. Very passionate about this movement and about maintaining the rights and freedoms in this country for my children and my grandchildren. We're good.